The afternoon sun filtered through the oaks of Willowbrook Estates, casting golden flecks across my front porch as the metallic scrape of a key against my door's lock sliced through the suburban quiet. My heart skipped, the sound as alien as a siren in this gated enclave of manicured lawns and faux serenity. I was 30 miles outside Austin, in a community that promised peace, but peace was a stranger today. From my security tablet propped on the kitchen counter where I was brewing a second pot of coffee, I watched Karen Whitmore, HOA president and self-styled overlord, glance nervously over her shoulder. Her silver bob glinted as she twisted a master key in my lock, the click echoing like a gavel. She pushed the door open, her sensible pumps clicking on my hardwood floor, her clipboard clutched like a warlord's decree. Then, from the living room's shadows, a low, rumbling growl froze her in place. Two amber eyes glowed. Shadow, my 90-pound German shepherd, a retired military K-9, rose like a spectre. His teeth bared in a warning snarl, a controlled display of menace honed over 3 tours in Afghanistan. Karen's clipboard slipped, clattering to the floor as she pressed herself against the wall, her breath hitching. Shadow held his ground, a sentinel between her and the exit, his training a perfect balance of restraint and intimidation. This wasn't just a break-in. It was the climax of a 6-month war. Let me rewind to how we got here. I'm Marcus Chen, a 45-year-old retired Army veteran, my 20 years of service etched in scars and a slight limp from a shrapnel wound. 6 months ago, I moved to Willowbrook Estates, a gated community promising tranquility, seeking a quiet life with Shadow, my partner through desert patrols and IED sweeps. The cabin-style ranch, a modest 1,800 square foot haven, was my fresh start, its wraparound porch perfect for morning coffee and evening cigars. I'd installed a state-of-the-art security system, cameras, motion sensors, live feeds, more out of habit than necessity. Shadow, with his sleek black and tan coat and unerring loyalty, patrolled the yard, his presence a comfort. Willowbrook's glossy brochures sold community and security, but Karen Whitmore, HOA president, had other plans. A 50-year-old real estate agent with a penchant for power, she ruled like a feudal lord, her crimson lipstick and tailored suits as much a uniform as my old fatigues. Her McMansion, a 6,000 square foot monstrosity across the cul-de-sac, was her command center, where she issued edicts with a smile sharp enough to cut glass. Trouble struck days after I arrived. I was unpacking boxes, the air thick with cardboard dust, when Karen's aggressive knocks rattled the door. Clipboard in hand, her face pinched, she declared my moving truck excessively parked under HOA Code 7.3, subsection B. "It's been here 3 hours," I said, keeping my tone civil. "I'm still unloading." She scribbled a warning, her pen a weapon. Over weeks, citations piled up like spent shells. My mailbox, 3/4 of an inch too tall. My doors beige, aggressively neutral. My grandmother's gnome collection, tucked in a flower bed. Unauthorized lawn ornamentation. Shadow became her obsession. Despite his impeccable training, silent and less commanded, obedient to a fault, she claimed his 90-pound frame violated reasonable pet size restrictions. I showed her the bylaws allowing dogs under 100 pounds, but she sneered, "German shepherds are inherently threatening." Her camera flashed over my fence, snapping Shadow napping in the grass. She'd appear at dawn, measuring my lawn with a ruler, or at dusk, photographing my curtains through windows, muttering about code compliance. The escalation came via a purple-inked notice slipped under my door, announcing a mandatory interior inspection for illegal modifications, unapproved paint and fixtures. It demanded entry within days, threatening fines and legal action. My military instincts kicked in. This was no HOA rule. It was a power grab. I consulted Janet Morrison, my neighbour and a retired paralegal, over coffee in her rose-lined garden. "Karen's gone rogue," Janet whispered, glancing around as if Karen's spies lurked. "She's driven out 3 families with her harassment. She bragged at the last meeting about a master key for emergencies. It creeped everyone out, but no one stood up to her. Janet's intel was gold. Karen's unchecked power relied on fear, but her key was a ticking bomb. I checked my bylaws. HOAs had no right to enter private homes without consent or a court order. Karen's reign was built on bluster, not law. That Thursday, I headed to town for errands, groceries, a new wrench for a leaky pipe, leaving Shadow napping in the living room, the security system armed. Karen's silver sedan idled down the street, but I dismissed it, thinking she was tormenting another neighbor. My mistake. The security footage, later reviewed, told a chilling story. 10 minutes after I left, Karen strode up my driveway, clipboard in hand, her key ring glinting. She knocked once, paused 5 seconds, then muttered, "Time to catch him red-handed." The lock turned and she invaded my home, snapping photos of my kitchen, my leather couch, my coat closet. She was so absorbed in her witch hunt, she missed Shadow rising, his amber eyes locking on her. His growl, low and guttural, stopped her cold. He didn't lunge. His training held him to a defensive stance, teeth bared, blocking her path to the door. Karen's phone slipped, clattering as she backed against the wall, whispering, "Please, nice doggy," her voice a trembling plea. For 15 minutes, Shadow held her, a silent guardian, never touching her, but never relenting. I returned to find her car still parked, dread knotting my gut. Rushing inside, I saw Karen pinned against the hallway wall, tears streaming, Shadow statue still. "Marcus!" she gasped, but I called Shadow off with a sharp, "Stand down." His tail wagged, the fierce protector now my grinning companion. Karen collapsed, babbling about inspections and authority. I dialed 911, reporting a break-in, then called animal control to document Shadow's restraint. As we waited, I played the footage on my tablet, letting Karen see her own crime. Officer Rodriguez arrived, his jaw dropping at the video. "HOA powers don't cover breaking and entering," he said, cuffing her as she shrieked about her position. Animal Control Officer Lisa Hayes praised Shadow's textbook defense, noting he'd neutralized an intruder without harm. Karen's excuses, "I had complaints about illegal activities," crumbled when she couldn't name a single source. News of Karen's arrest blazed through Willowbrook like a summer fire. Neighbors flooded my porch, sharing horror stories. Tom Phillips, a mechanic, said Karen had entered his garage, photographing his tools as noise violations. Sarah Kim found citations on her counter after Karen used the key while she was at work. The HOA meeting that evening was a reckoning, the clubhouse packed with furious residents. "How long has she been sneaking into homes?" demanded Clara Evans, a retiree. "Who gave her a master key?" The board, cowed by Karen's reign, admitted they'd suspected her overreach but feared her wrath. They voted unanimously to oust her, void her inspection rule, and seize the keyring. Janet, stepping up as interim president, pledged transparency, her eyes fierce. The criminal case was a landslide. Karen faced multiple counts of breaking and entering, criminal trespass, and harassment. My footage, showing her unauthorized entry, was the prosecution's star. Neighbors testified, 12 homes violated, personal files kept, threats issued via fake liens. The prosecutor revealed Karen's dossier, a creepy archive of residents' lives, from medical records to vacation schedules, used to intimidate. Her defense, claiming HOA duties, collapsed under the weight of her actions. The judge's verdict was scathing. "Ms. Whitmore, you abused trust, treating homes as your playground." She got 18 months in prison, 3 years probation, $50,000 in restitution, and a permanent ban from HOA rolls and Willowbrook. Her courtroom collapse, swaying, whispering, "No, no, no, you are more you need to know," became a viral sketch, captioned Karen's Karma. Willowbrook exhaled. Janet's board changed every lock, banned master keys, and greenlit gnomes and curtains. Neighbors threw a barbecue. Shadow the guest of honor, his new collar tag gleaming, Willowbrook Guardian. A year's supply of gourmet treats arrived, courtesy of grateful residents. Karen's McMansion sold, her family vanishing. I hung a photo in my cabin. Shadow mid-growl, the lake beyond, captioned, "Loyalty defends." It's a testament. Tyrants fall when courage and a good dog stand firm. Got an HOA horror story? share below. Like if this saga bit deep, and stay tuned for more tales where justice barks louder than tyranny.